Lord knows I did that.
Shit.
Boy,
Nigga fucking right. Monkey Goofy. Goofy. Hope you're slobbering this bad guy.
why would they do that, bro?
Bro, because it's getting you ready. Yeah, no!
Ooh, that ain't bad. What is good, people? It is your boy T-Rav. We are here once again. This is Location Sports Rundown. I'm here with my co-host, Romy Rome.
What's up, man?
And right now, we got a lot to get into. It is New Year's Eve, people, and the people is here, and we got a lot of stuff going on later. We're gonna try and have this out to y'all hopefully tonight. But you know, how and before we get into it, how was your year as a whole, man? What do you think about this year's sports as a whole? I know we're only in the halfway mark NBA right now, but we done had a full year. What was your biggest highlights?
The sports outlook was, I would say, up until this NFL season so far, like late in the season, it's been pretty predictable. You know, most major sports. You know, you kind of seen when it got to the last 4 or 6, you kind of knew who was going to come down to. But here we are, this NFL season and this college football season, things are shaking up. We got a playoff. Alabama, Michigan. Okay, not a surprise right there.
Yeah.
Washington, Texas actually back. You know, and
First time since what, 09?
yeah, and the teams that are shaping out, you know, in the NFL right now is very kind of not what we suspected. But you know, let's hop right in it with the NFC East. You know, Dallas got a controversial win last night against Detroit. Basically, Detroit had took it all the way down, and they converted a 2-point conversion, which would have gave them the lead with like 23 seconds left. And apparently, one of the guy who caught the touchdown, Taylor Decker, right? They say that he didn't report to the ref and say he was an eligible receiver. When it's clear video footage that he did, in fact, go up to the ref and let him know that he was going to be an eligible receiver.
And apparently Dan Campbell says he even gave the refs a heads up before the game, and the ref was quoted as saying that I thought it was number 70. What do you think about that?
Well, for me, you know, it's a bad call, but it's been bad calls all season. It's been bad calls all season. You know, Mahomes dealt with something like this just a week ago. The guy checking him offside, the Kadarius Toney and all that stuff.
Well, that was blatant.
Well, I mean, look.
That's not a bad call. That's the right call.
After every game, you can come away with a plethora of calls that didn't make sense. Some a little bit more higher situations than others, but it just is what it is. But you know, when Tua got pushed in the back with a finger by Micah Parsons and got called for a roughing the passer penalty, which resulted in 7 points and them getting the lead and never giving it up for the rest of the game. They could have pointed to that. It's so many things that happens in a game, especially with these calls and stuff like that. Now, do I think it was a bad call? Of course it was a bad call. But you know, it happens. Detroit has to ask themselves, why were they in position in the first place? Why did you give up a 92-yard receiving touchdown to CeeDee Lamb? You know, why were y'all so leaky in the secondary? You know, you couldn't stop a third down for your life. So for me, that slow start for them, and they counted on Dallas getting turnovers and shit. Like, it should have been a lot more. It should have been close at the end for them to even tie it, honestly. Dallas should have won that game by at least 2 possessions. If you watch the whole game, you saw that Dallas was a better team. Obviously, it's just they kept giving them chances, and to the last minute, you see stuff like that could happen. But
what do you think Dallas needs to do to clean that stuff up as they go into the playoffs? Because what are they locked into, the 3rd seed?
Yeah, they still have a shot at the division. They need Philly to lose. But I don't know what they need to do. They're doing everything pretty good. You know, CeeDee Lamb's he's hot right now. Dax, he's hot for the most part, we just got to get that running game going. We need Pollard to get a little bit more physical.
Yeah.
You know, and if you got to run Dowdle more, get him in there. You know, this is
he's the one that you need to kind of be that hammer to take up for what.
I don't know what Zeke was asking for. Apparently, it wasn't much at all. But I think this is why I was reluctant to give up Zeke. Tony Pollard, leg snapped, man. Like, he's not going to be eager to take on these big hits. You know, and then after him,
that wasn't never his style of running.
Yeah,
anyway.
and then after him, you got guys that's, you know, practice squad guys that proving themselves and come up. It's nothing worth really bringing up. So it's like, for me, we got to get a running game. We got to get that going. We got to get at least 80 yards out of rushing game. If we can get that, man, it's, you know, it's a wrap. You know, the defense is playing well. It's just when they keep getting the ball in pressurized situations, you know, a short field, you know, 3 and outs and stuff like that, of course it's going to wear on them.
When you can't rely on that defense to force a bunch of turnovers, things get tight, okay? And I know that people said that, you know, this team is led by its defense and all that, and while that may be true to a degree, at the end of the day, in the biggest games where y'all have somewhat come up short, is because you've asked Dak to kind of put it on his back and go and make a play and win the ball game. And I just don't know if that's a reliable method to, you know, be focused on as you're going into the playoffs. We'll see. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. But when there ain't that run game to take the pressure off of him, things get tight, man. I'm just saying.
Well, I think they'll be okay. I'm still choosing them and Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl. I think Dallas, it's better for them to go into the playoffs on a win now mode, you know, on a less of a high horse. You know, save all that high horse stuff for San Francisco and, you know, hot teams like, you know, Buffalo and stuff like that. Baltimore, save the high horse for them, see if they can handle it. Dallas has proven that they can't handle the high horse since 1996. So, for me, I feel they're still okay. Of course, they're still in the playoffs. They won't get a number 1 seed. They won't play a playoff home game, you know, unless they won't play a home game in the playoffs. So they're gonna have to get over that road bug and all that. But next we go to the NFC South, because that's likely going to be who Dallas plays on the road, the NFC South winner. New Orleans beat Tampa Bay today. Yes. Tampa Bay could have clinched it today with a win. They can still clinch it next week with a win, but New Orleans can clinch it next week with a Tampa Bay loss. All Tampa Bay has to do is lose and New Orleans win. And all Tampa Bay has to do is win, like they had to do today, but they couldn't do it. Baker Mayfield, I think like 1 for 4 on third downs in the fourth quarter. Like it's just not going to get it. But credit to him, he is a candidate for comeback player of the year, as deservingly so. He's came back and he's always done this his whole career. If you kind of looked up what he's done since he went to Texas Tech, couldn't beat out Mahomes. I think it was at first A&M. You know, redshirted there first, then went to Texas Tech, couldn't beat out Mahomes.
Walked on at OU.
Walked on OU.
Became the Heisman number 1 pick. Then he gets shipped out of the Browns. He bounces around. Whenever he has a chip on his shoulder, he's
the type of guy. He's an NFL quarterback. He's a starter. You know, you'll take him over a lot of guys in the league right now. You know, I think he's just as good as a guy like Jared Goff. You know, you give him a defense and an offensive line. He's shown he can get you to the playoffs. He's won a playoff game. Jared Goff, the most he'll probably do is win a playoff game, if that. So
why do you think the Rams let him go? Like, I know they still got Stafford, but couldn't you have at least just held on to him and that be kind of your future going forward?
Well, Stafford's ceiling was a lot higher, and Jared Goff, there was an overreaction. You know, we hadn't seen him, you know, post the Rams yet. We thought, okay, he's the reason why the Rams didn't win a Super Bowl. They could have just scored 13 points, you know, or 15, 14 points. Yeah. You know, with all those weapons they had. You know what I'm saying? And remember that year they were talking about Sean McVay like he was the offensive
boy wonder,
Mount Rushmore or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's why they let him go. They thought he had limitations. You know, they thought he was a game manager. You know, a guy that would just get you to the playoffs and in and out. But I still think he's that. I don't think Detroit will win more than a game, if that, in the playoffs. They could meet up with Detroit. They could meet up with Dallas again. Dallas going on the road to play them. But either way that goes, I don't see them winning more than a game in the playoffs. They're just not ready.
One and done. That defense is not right. And losing that corner in the beginning, before the season started, was a huge loss.
Gardner Johnson.
On the Eagles.
They're just not ready. It's okay. They're like that. They're right there with Miami, which we'll get to a little later.
They're trending in the right direction, though. I must say that. Where Miami seems like they've kind of gotten to this level. And do you think that this is the ceiling for Miami?
Yes. I don't. Oh, they beat Dallas. Dallas is the same exact fucking team, but the same exact fucking.
Unproven.
Yeah, the same thing. And so, I felt the home team was gonna win that game anyways. If Dallas was the home, they would have won that game. And Dallas gave them that game also. Dallas is giving out games like candy, like it's trick or treat or something.
Hello.
And they might want to get a hold of that.
They with the holiday spirit, man.
Yeah, and I want better for them and all that. But so Tampa Bay, New Orleans, like we said, Tampa Bay, I think they're gonna punch it in next week. I want to see them in there more than New Orleans, but either way, Dallas will have to go to a rowdy Tampa Bay. Mike Evans and the crew, Todd Bowles defense, or they're going to the Superdome with if the Saints get there hyped up, confident. Derek Carr, you heard him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you heard him.
So you much rather play Tampa Bay as opposed to?
I much rather play New Orleans. That home field's going to be but I much rather play New Orleans. Tampa Bay, I feel. I feel Tampa Bay has a better quarterback, and I think Baker Mayfield is better than Derek Carr. I think they have a better receiver than any New Orleans Saints receiver. He is better than Michael Thomas. Mike Evans is better. The defense, the Tampa Bay defense is a lot better, which New Orleans defense is not bad.
They're not bad.
But I don't think
that's kind of what's kept them relevant at all the past year.
And Tampa Bay is a lot younger, and I would be more, timid playing them. But since we were kind of chiming in on the NFC North, let's just kind of stay there a little bit. Okay, Detroit, they won it. At this point, they're just trying to go in with some confidence, momentum. I can see them resting players next week. This is the most important week 17 in NFL history. This is like a few week 17s, but the most important last week of the regular season in NFL history. A lot of teams that punch playoff berths can't afford to rest their players because they have so much at stake still. A division shot, is it gonna be wild card, home or away, 1 seed or 2 seed. San Francisco not resting nobody. The Eagles ain't gonna rest nobody. Buffalo. Baltimore's not gonna rest nobody. Nothing's set in stone. So, of course, Seattle and the Rams are not, because if Seattle loses next week, the Rams are in, or if the Rams just win and just win out, period. But the Rams could lose and Seattle still lose and they still get in. But if Seattle wins and the Rams win, they both win, Rams got it. They got the tiebreaker. So. And that's a good job he's been doing over there. We'll get to that division next, but after Detroit, okay, Green Bay, Minnesota, they're still mathematically in there, but I don't see that happening with Green Bay. Minnesota, maybe. I just don't see it. But one of those teams could very well get in. And then you got Chicago, lots of layers there. So Green Bay, Minnesota, first of all, who's more likely to get in the playoffs? And why?
I would say that the team that's more likely to get in is Green Bay. While I haven't been just blown away by their quarterback, it's just, he's fine. I would expect more progression by your third year, even though you've been sitting, and to come in ready to go and not thinking that you just got to keep on learning, but you need the on-field experience and all that. But I've seen flashes from their defense that I wasn't expecting, and they've turned out to be, I think, a solid defense. They tend to bend, don't break, or whatnot, and then that running game can really get going and take the pressure off. Whereas opposed to the Vikings, I'm not sure if they necessarily have that in spades right now. And relying on Justin Jefferson, while he might be the best receiver in the league, I just don't know how far that's going to take you. So I think it's more likely that Matt LaFleur and the Packers sneak their way in as opposed to the Vikings. Do you disagree?
I'm not too educated on both of these teams, but I do know that I like the stability that Green Bay has, if any, like at the quarterback position. At least they've had one guy there. Minnesota, it seems like they've had, tryouts all season for everybody. Dobbs.
The Dobbs
Mullins,
story faded away real quick.
Cousins going. I feel like Cousins would have stayed healthy. They would have caught up probably with Detroit, but they didn't. It didn't happen. So
It didn't happen that way.
yeah, I think Green Bay is more likely to get in than Minnesota. But let's get to Chicago here. Of course, they're not getting in. They've already been eliminated. Justin Fields, they won today, as a matter of fact. And Justin Fields pretty much playing for a tryout for another team, which he will have a market. But I think this is the best job for Jim Harbaugh. You're in the North still. You played for Chicago. Likely two picks in the top 10. The first pick, and you probably have like a 7 or 8 pick. You can get an offensive guy and a defensive cornerstone. Ask Houston how this played out for them. Will Anderson, C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
So, look, there's a lot of things can happen. Caleb Williams, I'm hearing stuff. He's liking posts that says basically correlate with he doesn't want to go to Chicago and all that stuff. I don't think he's that good to even be calling his shots like that.
For real.
It's been NFL insiders saying that by the time the whole due process is over for the draft, Jaden Daniels will be just as much as a number one prospect, a quarterback, than Caleb Williams, I say. I think Caleb Williams has dug himself too much of a good hole, as being the number one, prospect, and just the hype, just the measurements,
the State Farm commercials,
the tape,
and all this other things.
I feel it'll put too much pressure on a GM who needs a quarterback. If you have a chance to get Caleb Williams and you don't draft him, your quarterback you draft, he better get y'all to the playoffs the next season, and you better hope Caleb Williams don't get to the playoffs the next season, because you're going to get fired. So it's kind of a weird thing when that happens. If you want to be a wise guy and pick a guy that's kind of outside of the pack, you put so much pressure on yourself and the organization and the coach. And Matt Eberflus, by the way, is not even fired yet, but I think he's just as good as gone. Bye, dude. There's nothing.
What has he done?
He's done nothing. I think it was a stretch for him to get that job anyways. That coach of defense that he was, coordinating wasn't even top 10. So that just goes to say I'm not gonna get down that road today with the
selection
privilege that it is out there.
Selection of these coordinators.
I can't think for the life of me a black man with a leading a defense under top 10 that gets a head coaching gig. D'Amico Ryan's got to have a top 5, okay? Tomlin had to have a top 5. Tony Dungy had to have a top 5. Todd Bowles had to have a top 5. Just saying. But anyways, to get back to the point, Chicago, I feel is a better job than what people are giving credit for. I feel they have a lot of young talent, a great fan base, a division that I don't think a quarterback has sold up yet. Jared Goff, nobody sold on him.
He didn't put a choke on him.
Yeah, Minnesota doesn't have a guy. In Green Bay, nobody sold on Jordan Love. So if no quarterback, if there's no franchise quarterback at any of the teams in your division, it's wide open, period. It all starts with the quarterback. So they can draft Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. They could draft. Those are the only guys they could draft. I think number one that'll make sense. Drake maybe, but whoever they get could just very well be the next season be the best quarterback in their division.
Would it even make sense for them to draft Jaden Daniels? Because isn't he essentially just Justin Fields all over again?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's more of a natural quarterback mind than a Justin Fields. If you watch Jaden Daniels, he's Justin Fields never been that check down guy. The detriment Ohio State quarterbacks get is like the game plan is made for them. The audibles are already made for them. The coach makes the reads for them, type of thing. Jaden Daniels, that's all him. You can see it. I see a lot of Dak Prescott in him. I see a lot of I see a lot of young Russell Wilson in him. I see a lot of Tua, a guy that can improvise, accurate guy, fearless thrower, going to take chances, not going to play it safe and check down every pass play. Knows the importance of getting the ball down the field. Reminds me of C.J. Stroud too. Like, it reminds me a lot of that. You know, these guys, they want to be down on this and this. Justin Fields could still be a playoff quarterback. We don't know that yet. What quarterback has Chicago developed since Jim McMahon in 1985? Michael Jackson had the #1 album. Like, stop playing with me. Like, we gotta stop giving guys like Zach Wilson and Justin Fields a bad. I think Justin Fields is better than Zach Wilson, but still, Zach Wilson, I'm not out on him. So I'm not out on him just yet.
You're not out on Zach Wilson?
No. What quarterback has succeeded with the Jets since Joe Namath? Mark Sanchez got to back-to-back AFC championships with the all-time great defense, in my opinion. Okay, Chad Pennington won the division some years ago, or maybe I don't know. I don't think he did. Brett Favre did succeed there.
Mark Sanchez did lead you to 2 AFC championships.
He didn't lead them. That defense led them. Rex Ryan led them. He didn't lead them. Let's be real. So Mark Sanchez never started again after that. So
the Jets have a good defense.
Zach Wilson, I'm not gonna count him out just yet. I'm just not. Not with a team that hasn't developed a quarterback since the 60s. Same for Chicago. You haven't developed a quarterback since the 80s. I'm not out on the guy that's not doing well with you.
In fairness to Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers did essentially sabotage their season without even being there. But that's another story.
The whole plan was for Zach Wilson to learn behind one of the all-time greats. Get a season's worth of game. Seeing him in different situations. The first fucking play of the season, Aaron Rodgers tore his ACL. He didn't see a damn thing but practice. It's all he saw. Aaron Rodgers barely did that. We all know Aaron Rodgers chills in the offseason. He was fairly invested with the Jets, though. He was out there a lot with them practice field. But still, come on now, Zach Wilson. It's like, damn, I'm right back in the fire again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn. And I think that team wouldn't have been as dominant as everybody would have thought with Aaron Rodgers healthy. I think a rude awakening was waiting for them. I'm telling you now.
I picked them to miss the playoffs.
Listen. Y'all see how good Miami and Buffalo is right now.
I picked them to miss the playoffs regardless.
Those receivers and Garrett Wilson, I think is a little overrated. My Ohio State guy, I think he's a little overrated. His route running isn't the best. He doesn't see the field as good as I would like him to see it. He doesn't get behind the cornerback as much as I would like him to see him get behind the corner. But he's apparently one of the next guys up. I think they should consider drafting another receiver. Definitely get the O-line fixed, which I don't think was all that bad. The Jets games I watched, the quarterback had plenty enough time to pass, in my opinion. It's just Zach Wilson doesn't know what the fuck to do with it. It was going to be good enough for Aaron Rodgers, right? So, Mekhi Beckham, he went out, but for me, Zach Wilson still has a chance to be a good quarterback. Justin Fields still has a chance of being a good quarterback. But Chicago has a bright future. 2 top 10 picks. They're going to get the right coach in there. I think they should try like hell to get Jim Harbaugh. You got to get Jim Harbaugh, man. Got to get him in there. He's going to implement what they want to be. Defensive team, hard-nosed, run game, line of scrimmage is elite. Have a quarterback that knows the urgency of the moment. Elite game manager quarterback. Caleb Williams is more than a game manager in my opinion, but there's nothing wrong with just managing a game. There's nothing wrong with that. Managing a game can get you champ. I think Troy Aikman was a game manager. He won 3 Super Bowls, one of the best dynasties in sports. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady was a game manager, people. Newsflash. I mean, he was a game manager. He was. He was the best game manager it ever was. Peyton Manning, that was a game manager.
Okay, now we're.
See, game manager.
So Pat Mahomes is a game manager.
So a person who manages the game well. This is why you got to get off the internet, guys. A game manager doesn't mean you have limitations. It just means you play within a certain system, a certain way. Mahomes is not a game manager.
You know what the public definition.
Mahomes is not. Mahomes is his talent is the system. You know what I'm saying? Peyton Manning needs to be around structure. He needed to be around smart minds. He had the arm, but he wasn't gonna make anybody around him do anything that they couldn't do.
Wait, so he wasn't he's not the reason why a lot of high school quarterbacks are now doing audibles and stuff when they were never doing that before. You talk about he needed to be around structure and smart minds. He was the mind.
I'm sure Peyton Manning wake up, oh, I want to start doing audibles in Young Omaha. There was a coach in an office. They spoke, and they spoke amongst themselves and thought, oh, we should start doing audibles. And audibles have been around long before Peyton Manning. He just had, he just happened to come up in the area where we have mics and shit. We can hear him say Omaha. A lot of things have been said over the years over the line of scrimmage. Okay, hut, this, that, blue 42, it's all the same fucking thing. It's an audible.
Yeah, I can tell you that
he's
a
an
lot of high
all-time
school
great.
quarterbacks were not doing that.
Well, I'm comparing him to NFL guys. High school,
When you change the game like that, I'm sorry, I can't call you some game manager. When you're Tom Brady and you throw 50 touchdown passes, I apologize. I'm not gonna call you a game manager. Throwing over 5,000 yards, doing this, just because you have control over the pace of the game.
Dak Prescott most years has passed for more yards than Tom Brady has in his years.
The way you're talking about it, you're talking about it, literally applies to Patrick Mahomes too. So I don't know why you're trying to make.
He could be a game manager, bro. Like a lot of these, that's the goal, to be able to manage the game for a quarterback. That's why I said I don't know why people have been throwing out that term for guys that have limitations, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. How does being a quarterback, a leader, how's a detriment that you can manage the game? Isn't that the fucking definition of a quarterback? Okay, like, man, you're the leader. You gotta manage this shit. You gotta see manage the game. Make sure he's over here. Make sure they're over there. Make sure they run it that way. You throw it right. You do this. You see that. It's a game manager. It's okay. It's okay. And that's fine. Peyton Manning is still a top 5 quarterback of all time. Tom Brady is still the best of all time. But you were a fucking game manager. It's fucking K. I'm not saying you sucked. I'm not saying, oh, your ceiling was right here. I'm just saying you managed the game well. You weren't forcing things, okay? You weren't trying to chunk it down the field when it really wasn't there. You chunk it down the field when you knew, okay, this is designed to be this way. You threw it 8 yards when he busted to that left because it was designed to be that way. It wasn't a lot of improvisation and a lot of the play falling off and you having to do this. They did it sometimes, but it wasn't the center of their game. That's all I'm saying. The center of Mahomes' game is really improvising. The play breaks down, doing more. Lamar Jackson he isn't a game manager. Who else? Josh Allen. I would say he's a game manager. You catch my drift? Those guys that do all the run. Russell Wilson, I feel, kind of really got this thing going in this era with the guys. Shout out to Vinny Tersavidi. I'm a student of the game. I know who first did this. Yeah, I know who first did this. But guys like Russell Wilson helped make it credible. Kaepernick, guys running around, scrambling around for 7 times, 7 seconds, and then finding a play down the field, a 80-yard route that was supposed to be a 6-yard slant. Those are the guys that aren't game managers. The ones that are game managers are going to throw you the 20-yard pass because they wanted it was supposed to be a 20-yard pass. There's nothing wrong with that. The whole top 5 of all time are probably game managers. Outside of Mahomes,
we just got different definitions of that.
I guess so.
But that's just
game manager. It's a great thing to be. It's a great thing to be. Great thing to be. As Peyton Manning, as Tom Brady, as Troy Aikman, and they'll take you right to their ring hardware room and tell you why it's great to be a game manager. But anyways, we're gonna go to the NFC West. We kind of brought it up, the implications. Seahawks do not control their destiny. The LA Rams do. The 49ers have already clinched it. They're in. So the Cardinals are out, which almost had a win against the Eagles today. And so Rams or Seattle, who do you see really breaking through, getting this done? Because honestly, I think Seattle's a better team, but the Rams I think they just had a little bit of an easier schedule. So tell me
what's the game next week for the Rams?
Let me see. I think the Rams.
Because Seattle. That's been one of the more confusing teams to me to try and figure out this year, because just when they start playing well, it's like they take a step back that you're not expecting. I thoroughly expected them to have sewn up the wild card spot by now, but to have it hang in the balance like this, especially with all the momentum that the Rams have, that's tough, man. That's tough. Cause Gino's back, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's back.
Yeah, he's back. Okay, so their last game will be. That's so hard to fucking find this. All right. So I don't have who they're playing next week.
Okay.
Bro, the internet has got too fucking difficult. I'm so sorry. I just simply typed. You know what? You go, okay? But it doesn't fucking matter who they're playing next week, okay?
Well, thank you for your excellent research.
It doesn't fucking matter, okay? I think they're going to get it in.
Damn.
They have the better quarterback. They have Matt Stafford. The other team has Geno Smith. They have Sean McVay. The other team has Pete Carroll. You do the fucking... Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm glad that my research is on point, okay?
Bro,
and this is why I think the remaining schedule matters. Because as you said earlier, the 49ers ain't resting people, and they will be playing the Rams, okay? They'll be playing the Rams, whereas Seattle is playing the Cardinals.
Wait, the Rams will be playing who?
The 49ers.
Look, I don't know. Look, okay. So, it
doesn't fucking matter. I think it does fucking
does matter. Right? McCaffrey went out. McCaffrey got hurt today, okay? If this motherfucker does this, I told y'all, he does this. Now, he is a top 5 running back in this league. I would say that. He went out today with a calf strain and all that, but he never stays healthy. Carolina, this was the story. I always got his contract, but he can't stay healthy the whole season. And so he's a finesse back and everything. I know that. But he went out. Injuries always hurt the 49ers. Every season is injuries. Every season. Luckily, Brock Purdy's still upright. Deebo Samuel, defense, Trent Williams is doing his thing. But
that's probably the most important piece this day.
All it takes is that one play, that one hit,
Yeah.
But
that's how it ended last year. Brock Purdy gets hit in the elbow.
I think San Francisco and Dallas will meet again, and Dallas will beat them again. That's the one team. I think that's the one team Dallas
beat them again.
Dallas will beat them. Finally, right. In the playoffs. And but for me, the reason why I say San Francisco isn't quite ready to win at all, I just don't believe in Brock Purdy all the way. I just don't. He's too reliant. Everything has to be perfect. Everything. He's not a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. So you got that. Does he have better people around him, better players? Yeah. Yeah, he does. Does he have more Hall of Famers around him? Yes. What Hall of Famer is Dak playing with right now? None.
Tyron Smith?
When is that man not going to be on the field?
Well, that's y'all's problem.
All right. Well, look. Okay, so...
Play with him.
How many Hall of Famers is Brock Purdy playing around?
Lamb.
Fred Warner, Trent Williams, Chris McCaffrey will be in there. Deebo Samuel will be in there.
I don't know about Deebo. That's a stretch. See, there you go.
Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa will be in there. Kyle Shanahan as a coach will be in there. Oh my gosh. Do I got to keep going? Do I got to keep fucking going? This guy has all this supreme influence around him. I just don't trust it. I don't trust it. I feel the clock's gonna strike midnight for him, and it might happen. It might happen on the first round. It may happen to the Saints. It may happen. It may happen when they play
have the
Dallas
one.
or Philly. I don't know when it's exactly going to happen, but it's going to happen.
Well, they'll have the number 1 seed in the conference, so they'll get the first round bye. Who do you think they'll match up with for that?
It's hard to tell right now. It could be the Rams again. They could play Dallas again. The teams they don't want to see, Philly. They don't want to see Philly or Dallas. They just don't. I think they would rather play Detroit than Philly or Dallas. Dallas just has too much of resilient quarterbacks, too much of stingy defenses. Philly and Detroit both have better defenses than Philly and Dallas both have better defenses than Detroit. They both have better coaches than no, they don't, because Nick Sirianni is not near a better coach than Dan Campbell. So for me, Detroit has to be striking iron hot. They have to get out to a quick start. They're not a team that can come from behind, in my opinion. So I don't know why they like to do that a lot. So I like
Jared Goff's a game manager.
I like them to lose to a Philadelphia or a Dallas. Probably lose to Dallas in the second round.
I'm sure that's what you would like.
I think.
I mean, what has happened the past few years to give you the confidence that you're going to go to their building and beat them in the playoffs?
I think
that Dak has reached the next level. That's the only thing. What's different with your team?
After you get your ass kicked by a team so many times in that short of a span, you get numb. It's like, okay, these punches don't hurt as bad anymore. I'm not as scared to take this hit. I done felt this hit 2 or 3 times before. I'm about to go in here and just wreak havoc the best way I can, because those hits, they're coming, but they don't hurt me no more. So I think that a 30-yard rushing touchdown by Deebo Samuel won't get them off track anymore. They'll be like, all right, we just got to go back down and do what we do, and focus. And the defense is going to know the importance of getting takeaways early. Micah's going to know the importance of getting to Brock Purdy early. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to know the importance of getting to Brock Purdy early. Okay, Bland's going to know the importance of making sure he's on Brandon Ayuk, not looking in the fucking stands or whatever the fuck he does. He's been doing, look, Bland. I love the record, I love it, but my God, can you cover, please?
It's similar to freaking Trayvon
Diggs was covered.
Yes, but he was also a guy known for gambling, and he would get burnt a lot for it as well with all the interceptions.
Well, I like that they're playing Donovan Wilson a lot more. He's one of the best hybrid linebackers that's not getting paid.
He flies around the field.
Flies, man. Number 6, he flies.
But when a running game starts coming at your ass,
that first round pick, Mozzie Smith, isn't looking so good to me right now. He's hardly on the field, and when he is, they run right up our fucking throats. So
he should be able to spell Jonathan Hankins.
That pick, they should have went with a big time safety, in that regard. Stop getting these Michigan D tackles. Stop it.
I mean, but he was crazy in the weight room. He could bench press so much.
It really wasn't much available. Last year's draft really wasn't that deep. But I like what I see from Dallas as far as like the elements they have that can go off at any moment. So I like for them to beat San Francisco in the second round. It will be a close game. It could be overtime, but Dallas will prevail. And as far as I predict them going this year, is an NFC Championship. If I had to pick a favorite, I would say Dallas versus Buffalo, but I could easily be wrong after round 1 with those 2 teams, so who knows?
Yeah, Buffalo going on a run that crazy would be one of the greatest turnarounds.
They're the hottest team in the NFL, in my opinion. They won today again.
Yeah, but there's still concerns about them. I'm not gonna lie to you. As much confidence as I used to have in them, as much shakiness as I have in them now, and I wonder if they're hitting their peak a little too quick here. But they definitely have momentum going into the playoffs or whatever, because I didn't imagine they'd make it. I'm not gonna lie to you. When they were losing, when they lost to the Patriots and stuff like that earlier in the season, I was like, oh, yeah, that is not good. But,
well, let's go to the AFC, because the AFC is a lot more, I would say, a lot more clarity than the NFC right now, but it's still a lot of stuff that we don't know. Let's start with the NFC North. Baltimore, the overall favorites in this conference, deservingly so. First of all, do you think they should be the favorites in the AFC?
Yes. Right now, body of work, how Lamar's playing right now.
MVP too. He'll be 2-time MVP. This one of the great stories that they're gonna talk about one day. The way he waited.
That's a 30 for 30.
The way he waited with his mama that last pick, the first round. You should be a receiver. You should be.
NFL legends were saying that he should be a receiver. Okay, we ain't got to talk about that.
This man
Bill Polian.
This man came in and made Michael Vick an afterthought when it came to dual threat quarterbacks. We don't talk about Michael Vick no more being the best dual threat of all time. It is Lamar Jackson and Lamar Jackson only. Like a real razor sharp speed dual threat. Yeah.
And Vick has said time and time again he's faster than him.
Yeah.
So that's just crazy to think about.
A lot better pocket presence too.
And that's what I wanted to highlight about him this year. While the numbers of this year may not exactly compare to that MVP season he had a few years ago, I like the style of quarterback he's playing now. It feels more Mahomes-esque to me. He is keeping his eyes down the field while he's on the move. And yeah, you always know he can jump out the window on you, but he's taking these short passes. He's taking what the defense is giving him more than anything, especially compared to other years that I've seen him play. So I really like that progression. And plus, to do this without possibly the second best tight end in the league, third, something like that, Mark Andrews, he's in that conversation. And that's really been his number one receiver for years. So when you put it like that, Lamar is making a whole lot happen for that team. And when it comes to the definition of being valuable, you take him away from that team, what are they?
They're drafting top 10.
There we go. And so, you know what I'm saying? I like what the Ravens have done, although there is that team in that same division that seems, while you said that the Bills are the hottest team in the league, the Browns.
Cleveland's not hotter than both. They're hot, they're not hotter than both.
Hey, I'm just saying, Joe Flacco's come back.
They've had
he's going crazy.
This win streak, look at the win. This is fucking easy. None of those are playoff teams. But Joe Flacco, hey, that's my comeback player of the year. Damar Hamlin should have his own little thing this year.
Right.
Give it Joe Flacco. Come on now. He was on the couch. He thought his career was. He thought he was
taking
done.
his kids to school.
This is the guy. His 40 time is probably. I don't think it'll hit 5 seconds. So you talking about a guy now who's won a Super Bowl for the Baltimore Ravens, who won a Super Bowl off a hot streak, throwing fades to Torrey Smith, eyes closed and shit. I don't even remember those.
Boulder.
Yeah. So
scored crazy.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, he does this. He's a fearless thrower, great arm. He has a great defense there in with Myles Garrett at the helm. A top 5 defense that helps. You know, he has Amari Cooper who had a 200-some receiving yards on Thanksgiving weekend.
265.
Yeah, but he won't do that again. And that's a guy who disappears on the road for some reason. I'm a Cowboys fan. Trust me, I know these things. And Cleveland, it's a good story. That they're all right. If Joe Burrow was healthy, they wouldn't have a shot. But okay, health is part of the game. You know, so
because I think Joe Burrow, boy, if he was healthy, man, it would be
Well,
he would be poised to strike. I tell you,
they won't win a playoff game. They'll have to play. They'll have to play. Kansas City's on a break and maybe getting eliminated. People not talking about that much.
They might have to play.
They might have to play Kansas City. Kansas City's gonna win the division. Nobody else.
Right.
Vegas is not gonna.
Who's gonna get the wild card?
Vegas is still in the running.
Will the Bills get the wild card?
Bills will have to. Well, Bills could still get the division.
They
play Miami the last week of the season and they beat Miami already. Once, so that's what I'm saying. Buffalo's
they might face Bills
for
round 1.
Yeah, they're not winning the playoff game. They're not. They don't have enough in the receiving corps. Their defense is going to give them a chance to, but they can get lucky and win one, but that's about it. It's a nice story though. I like to see Joe Flacco keeping his dream alive. A great quarterback.
He might have bought himself a little 2-year deal. I ain't gonna lie. Deshaun Watson, the world looking cold out here for you, brother.
He bought himself a 2-year deal somewhere else for sure. Like for a team that drafted a rookie or something. The team that drafts like a team that drafts Quinn Ewers or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Yeah, Joe Flacco. They can use
Let
Joe
him come
Flacco.
sit for
Yeah.
18 months, 2 years.
The team that trades for Justin Fields and Zach Wilson, this is the guy he competes with and learns from. You know, but yeah, I grew up on some Joe Flacco now. You know what I'm saying?
Some of the best playoff stats from a quarterback of all time. I'll say that.
Every time I look up, he was on the TV breathing it. Like you can see his breath, that cold ass game. That dude
with the grass in his face, man.
Got his ass fucking drilled. But he's a good one though. He's one of the great arms I've saw. You know, he had a Josh Allen arm before Josh Allen came in. The boy from Delaware,
big arm.
Delaware State. So shout out to him. You know, good division. Pittsburgh, they have a chance, but they won't get in. Tomlin safe, job safe. You got to go to quarterback, man. Got to draft a quarterback. Michael Penix, I don't know, bro. Get somebody. Kenny Pickett ain't it.
It's not it.
You got Pickens there, one of the great big young receivers. He's up there with DK Metcalf. I put him in that category. You got a pretty, a slightly above average defense. TJ Watt, one of the best defensive players we've seen like in a decade or so. You got some things to work around. You gotta get a quarterback. Got to.
Well, one note I would like to make, with all the back and forth that's kind of gone on between George Pickens and Mike Tomlin, all I want to say is keep your eye out, okay? I'm not saying that they're going to trade the man, but I don't think that they're necessarily too happy with the man, and we done seen the track record of some of the receivers that have come through Pittsburgh the last decade or so. It all tends to not end very good, and I know that a lot of people with egos won't take too kindly to people being told to shut their damn mouth. I'm just saying. So,
well, okay.
I mean,
well,
let's keep it real.
The NFC North, it won't have any more teams in the playoffs. The two teams that's going to make the playoffs are in the playoffs already. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati is not your season. Joe Burrow, I hope you come back healthy, man. He's
gotta come back healthy.
His legacy so far, talented but injury prone. It's his legacy so far.
He's injury prone in college.
Yeah.
But they want to talk about that.
But he's right there neck and neck with Cam Newton, Vince Young, with one of the best college football seasons ever from a quarterback. You know, those are the only two I can think of. And Cam Newton, that season Cam Newton had it. It's still hard to put somebody over that one, man. I'm sorry. That was pretty good.
It was, yeah. But I don't know. Joe's season was crazy.
Who?
Joe's season was crazy.
Joe
Burrow.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, it was. It was crazy.
Flavor of the month.
Yeah,
that was a pure air attack, whereas Cam Newton was just destroying.
Cam Newton coming
running
down,
and throwing the ball. He was running over dudes.
Came back down 20 in the Iron Bowl against Mark Ingram, Nick Saban, those guys. You know that. You know it just. It was a lot there. It was a lot. So, all right. So AFC. Let's go to the AFC West. Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, and the Raiders. Only two teams with a real chance, a real shot is the Broncos have a shot, but they're not getting in. They're benching Russell Wilson for the rest of the season. So we won't stay in that. Do you agree with that? And it's only because he would not waive some little injury clause thing he had in there. That bench.
I think they're wrong for that, but I think if they're gonna do something, they should just cut him. Cut him.
He has so much. He has $39 million guaranteed next season.
Oh, you're gonna pay regardless. Somehow, some way. You're either gonna pay him to stay, you're gonna pay him to go. Okay? And at this point, I don't think that relationship can be rectified. This man, Sean Payton, tore him up on that sideline.
Boy.
Tore him up. I ain't never seen Sean Payton do that to a Drew Brees. Did you?
No.
Never. He would have even dared. Wouldn't have.
Drew Brees would have got right back in his ass.
Drew Brees put his fucking Wranglers on. He would have put them Wranglers on. Put a boot in that ass. You understand me? So yeah, man. It's just a bad situation for Russ. I do think that the talk about him, he's back to his Seattle self, was overblown, and people were, jumping on that hype train a little too much. You could tell that Sean Payton, just by the way he was calling this offense, I've never seen him call an offense like this. He never trusted Russ. He never did. Now, the real question is, will there be a market for Russell? Because Bro, you have to cut him. You have to cut him. What are they gonna do? You bench him right now to do what? Bring him back in and start next season? You can't. As messed up as it is, there will still be some market for Russell Wilson. I think there shouldn't be, but
I would give him one more season. You got to give him one more season. And Sean Payton, I feel is an overrated coach. How is Sean Payton not getting none of this blame? Oh, Sean Payton, he trying his best. He trying to do this. I feel Sean Payton is a little outdated as a coach in his coaching methods and his message to the locker room is not getting all the way through. I don't think
if you chip off the Bill Parcells block.
If you go 1 through 50, those guys, it's gonna be split on how they feel about Sean Payton. I promise you, it's not gonna be a overwhelming. Oh, that's my guy. A lot of those guys probably are not rocking with Sean Payton as much as you would think. And I know all the success he had with Drew Brees attached to his shoulder, okay, and all of that.
Very similar to Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but Mike McCarthy is not as as a fucking dickhead as Sean Payton is. Did you watch him on Fox last season? Oh my God, he exposed himself. He looks like a dick. It's like, bro, how do you all his fucking takes were so fucking emotional. You could say, oh, he doesn't know, he's not this, he's not that. In my mind, I'm like, he's never gonna get a coaching job again. And somehow, some way, he had a pick of the litter. The Chargers, the Broncos.
Super Bowl buy you a lot.
It's just they think he's an offensive genius because of all the yards he had with Drew Brees. And before that, he had one good season with Tony Romo. The year Tony Romo got a break with Drew Bledsoe, he broke out that year, and then next year Sean Payton left. But you know that's how he got his shot. That's why Sean Payton was always linked with the Cowboys. You know, he'd come back, do all of that. But yeah,
Jerry was never gonna give up that type of control.
No. He knew how Sean Payton was. He knew how he was. That's why he didn't do. Sean Payton, he's too snarly. Like, bro, you your little ass.
He's too self-absorbed. He's wrapped up in himself. He wants to be the star of the show. Let's keep it real. He wants to be known as the guy. He wants to be thought of how Shanahan's thought of. It's like, oh, it's my system. That's the only reason why it's working.
That's but his credit, he has not gotten his quarterback yet. He came there with Russell Wilson there, but you signed up for that job. You knew all the details of his contract. You knew how much he was getting paid. You knew how he looked with Nathaniel Hackett that year before.
You got a whole year.
You fucking knew, and you still took it. So he gets a lot of blame also. Stop putting us all on Russell Wilson. It is 12 other guys on that team. That defense gets up so many yards. Courtland Sutton get open.
Yes.
Like come on, where are these running backs? Why the offensive line not holding they blocks more than 2 seconds? Like this is not on Russell Wilson. It's easy to pounce on him. He's a soft guy. The guy that's always quoting Bible verses and all that. Right. Yeah, kind of corny. You know, Family Guy. Stop it. You know, Russell Wilson, he still has a lot left in the tank, in my opinion. Okay, let this man go to Las Vegas. Let this man go to freaking Tampa Bay or somewhere, or one of these other squads or something like that. Look, you don't want it. Let this man go to the Giants. I don't want, as a Cowboys fan, I don't want that.
An Atlanta film.
I don't want him. I don't want that. So y'all better relax your tone, okay? Y'all remember how Sean Payton was doing the last 2-3 years there in New Orleans and all. Y'all gotta pay attention, man. Gotta pay attention. Sean Payton is not it. Okay, Russell Wilson is it. He still got it. It just Denver has a plethora of problems around Russell Wilson. Russell's not the Russell, okay? No, but look, Russell Wilson needs some receivers. He needs an offensive line. He needs a more on the defensive end. You got Surtain, one of the best young corners in the league. Okay, you got a pass rusher. Bradley Chubb is with the Miami Dolphins right now. Yeah, wrecking shop on my fucking team.
They still been holding up their end though. After that blowout, they've played pretty solid defense. I would say.
Well,
they've shown themselves well. In years past, they were always top 10, even with terrible teams. So.
Okay, Raiders 4-3 with Antonio Pierce. They obviously play harder. They obviously love him. They obviously want him to be the coach. Should he get the job?
I'm worried. He should obviously get the job. But I'm worried that they haven't gone ahead and proactively, and it should have happened last week. It should have happened last week. After you beat the Chiefs, why do you not make this man the head coach? Give your team even more of just a sense that things are going in the right direction. And let's say even if you don't somehow squeeze into the playoffs, you go into next season full momentum. You know what you got in place. You know that you have a leader of men now, someone that you can trust and rely on, that's gonna put you in the proper situations. Whereas the last few years, when you had McDaniels, shit wasn't like that. I'm worried that they haven't gone ahead and named him the guy. Are my worries unfounded? Is that something that I'm thinking too much, or because the Davis family likes names, they like splash, they like flash, they want a big name. Antonio Pierce.
In my take, I don't think he deserves the job after this season. I think he deserves to be a head defensive coordinator. He was a linebackers coach before he got promoted to this, but they know he was the best moral guy for the job. The guy that could rally the locker room and just kind of not let things just explode. You know what I'm saying? But turns out he done won 4 games out of 8. You know what I'm saying? 4 out of 7.
And big games too, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't beat the Chiefs on the road on Thanksgiving Day. Hey, there's some big wins, but look, he definitely deserves to be a defensive coordinator, a head assistant type of guy. I see him getting a DC job I can see him get the DC job with the Commanders. I can see him get the DC job with the Carolina Panthers, who needs it bad. He's going to get a head DC job, and then like D'Amico, like Robert Saleh, like Eberflus, who's on his way back out. Like those guys, you have a big year with a big year. Keep your defense in the top 5. Overexcel. It really looks good when your offense sucks and your defense in the top 5. Those are the guys that really get promoted. I don't know who Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator is, but he's going to be out there. You know what I'm saying? I think it's Jim Schwartz.
I believe
the old Detroit Lions coach. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, proven guy. So he was there a lot of them Matt Stafford years, Calvin Johnson years. So what exactly were we? What point were we on? Look at you! Look at you!
Okay. Look at me!
Y'all, when he says okay, he's trying to buy some time and think about what the fuck. Okay, so we were talking about Vegas.
Yes. Thank you. I mean, you just start rambling on and on.
It took all my motherfucking mic to think of Vegas. Look, I just took the last minute. I said we were talking about Vegas.
You just took me all around the world and back. All right,
okay.
Go ahead. He don't deserve the job. I'll be here, motherfucker. I'll be here.
Okay, he don't deserve it yet, but he's definitely shown he has those intangibles to be a head coach one day. What lost it for me? What lost it for me was that game when they lost fucking 6-0. Everything was so good until then, and I said
the G.
They lost to the Vikings. I said
I think it was 3-0.
Oh my God. That was so much worse than what I thought.
It was bad, bro. But when you redeem yourself with the Chiefs, that shit matters. Come on, man.
Bro, how did y'all? That was, bro. That game.
That was rough.
Oh my gosh. After I saw that, I said, okay, well, it's been a good run. Okay. After that, Kyle Coward went him. I'm sorry, bro.
Not cutting this out. So.
Oh my gosh.
We know it.
All right, listen, y'all gotta get strong. Okay, so
Let's hold it together.
So Colin Cowherd, he's very hard on these defensive guys. He considered head coaches, bro. He had a host of little. We said, "This is why you don't get."
But yeah,
bro, like, well, look,
the way the league's going, it's going to offensive dudes.
He made a great point. He said defensive-minded head coaches can't handle a quarterback like a tailspin. Like, your quarterback gets injured, your starter gets injured. Defensive head coaches don't know how to handle it. They don't know the right ways to call plays. They don't know the right decisions to make for trades or this and that, or who to give the opportunity to, you know. And basically, he said that game was a shame. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for the league. And those are the games that the league is afraid of happening. Like those are the games that the league that was shut down the league. Let's put it like that's what's getting baseball about wrapped up. Okay, that's what's getting that diamond about wrapped up in the bag. Okay, all these little low scoring ass games and shit. 3-0, man. After that game, it's like, okay, you're not quite ready to be a head coach. You got to get more responsibilities. Show more within a year. Head DC. You know, I doubt he's a head DC the Raiders. He's not going to stick around. He's going to be too pissed to be there. You know, to see another guy getting. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
you know,
because they bring because it's not like Josh McDaniel had proven himself.
Dan Quinn's going to be a head coach somewhere next season. He served his dues. You know, he could have went somewhere last season. He came back because he felt something special with this group and all that. But this is the last year. If he gets an offer, he's taking it. And so I can see Dallas reaching out to him. And Dallas has a very great DB coach. They have the best DB coach in the whole league. The guy with the dreads, he's pretty good.
Didn't he come from? Wait, I thought he came from Seattle. But maybe.
Yeah. He coached the Legion of Boom. Yeah, he was real good with them. So Dan Quinn brought him over when he came. So I think they'll either promote him to DC or they'll bring over Antonio Pierce and just give that guy a bigger. He gonna take a bigger role somewhere else. But I like Vegas what they got going right now. That's another job Jim Harbaugh's in the hat for. They say I think he fits the Raiders' personality.
He fits the type that they like to go after.
Yeah, he fits the Bears and he fits the Raiders. Okay, and so I think those are the two likely places he'll go. I think he should consider more of the Chargers. You got Justin Herbert there. Remember, I know we forget, but Jim Harbaugh's an offensive-minded guy, supposedly. You know, I know he's always had these run-first defensive teams, but he was a former quarterback. This is supposed to be an offensive guy. So, you know, you got Justin Herbert there. You know, LA, you got Pat Mahomes in the division twice a year. That's the only thing that's scaring people away. Pat Mahomes twice a year in that division.
The Chiefs are showing a first-time vulnerability.
Yeah, but they're not going to be as bad as they are right now. They're going to fix those holes. You know, give them all. They're going to fix that.
I would agree with you, but when there have been, even Travis Kelce himself talked earlier in the year about, you don't understand how much I thought about retirement. Who's to say that he's going to be around for
He's
forever?
focused on like building a life with Taylor Swift, marrying her. You know, he's never had this much of a serious relationship in his whole career, like this. A one that he really cared about. Obviously, he's not letting Taylor Swift go, y'all. I'm putting it out there.
They're not.
He's holding on to that for dear life. He knows.
Boy.
He knows the importance of that financially.
You know who the breadwinner would be.
And for his brand, what that would do for him.
You seen all the commercials he's got since all that's gone down.
Man.
Shit's crazy.
Man, so I like the Chiefs in that division still. The Raiders are not quite ready yet. Denver's in a tailspin. You know, they're going to need a whole entire offseason to figure that out. And the Chargers, Justin Herbert went out. They gave up. Brandon Staley got fired. They're looking towards 2024.
And like we said, Justin Herbert, next year's your show and prove year for real.
So the AFC East, we briefly kind of, touched on it a little bit, but Miami and Buffalo played each other the last week of the season. Miami lost today to Baltimore. They're fraudulent. There's no way around it. 11-5, but they're so fraudulent. I think they're 11-6 now, whatever. But no, they're 11-5. Because 16 games. So Miami, Buffalo next week. If Buffalo wins, they're in. If Miami wins, they're division winners. I think Buffalo's a tougher team. They just had a tougher break early in the season, a tougher road. Played Kansas City early. They had a tough schedule early.
Tough road.
Tough. Bengals, I think, and all that. So, who do you think wins that division and why? And why do you think they're the favorites in that division?
Yeah, that one's hard. I want to say Buffalo because of the hot streak that they've been on, but at the same time, Miami is going to come out desperate next week. And plus, you have to keep in mind, Buffalo smacked them around earlier in the year, 48-20. So when you have those divisional rematches, when it comes down to it, it's gonna be hard to beat that team twice. And I just don't know if the Bills are going to be able to muster quite enough firepower to beat Miami in that last game. Because, the defense has been playing better since Jalen Ramsey came back. All right? It just has. So I think that's a favorable matchup for Miami in this case. I'm looking for a bounce back.
Just a quick side note, the way Zay Flowers did Jalen Ramsey today, I don't want to hear his name again. Do something to playoffs, okay? That young rookie gave you the work business. He let you know that your time is ticking, son. You might want to start clamping down on somebody because Zay Flowers did him dirty. Isaiah Likely did him dirty today, okay? You ain't got to worry about Odell Beckham Jr. no more. You got some new faces in here. And Jalen Ramsey's finding that out. Yeah, he's been helping that defense do a lot better in the back end, but he's also hasn't won against big time receivers in that stretch. Okay, you going against a bunch of fifth round receivers and stuff. No, I want to see what you do against guys like Zay Flowers and I want to see what you do against Stephon Diggs. Okay, next week and Gabe Davis next week. Do something against them. I want to see that. Dalton Kincaid and all them guys coming to town. Show me something, Ramsey.
I'm looking for an explosion from Tyreek.
All right, AFC South. My boy, Jethard Stroud is back. Better than ever. We blew the fuck out the Titans today. I think like 35-3 or something like that. Stroud is back, healthy. I think if Stroud is healthy, they can compete with anybody in the AFC. I say beat, they can compete, which means make it an interesting game. Yes, Baltimore. Yes, Kansas City. Yes, Buffalo. I think they can compete with all of those teams. It's a three-way ties. The last time I checked, Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville Jaguars are falling off. Trevor Lawrence is overrated. First of all, how do you view him as a quarterback, Trevor Lawrence? Is he a top 10 guy? Is he one of those future guys like Lamar Jackson and all these other guys that they've been trying to crown him to be?
I've always kind of viewed him as a guy that's got a ceiling as someone like Dak Prescott. Like, you could be fringe top 10, but I wouldn't necessarily look at you the same way that I look at a Joe Burrow, a Pat Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson. Like, dudes that I know for sure, it's like you're going to get a very high level of quarterback for years and years and years to come. I always think that he's going to be good. He's got a big arm and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. I just think that there's a little something missing. I don't know if it just seems, and this may seem ridiculous, but it seems to me like he just doesn't care all that much. Like, it doesn't affect him when things don't go the way he wants them to go. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. He's had a pretty silver-plated, career. You come out of high school, one of the best Georgia prospects ever. Same year as Justin Fields, by the way. You go to Clemson, all the hype he had there, sunshine, all this and that. Got a chip, you know what I'm saying? Then you come number one pick, Jaguars. Shit. You haven't done shit. You got lucky last season. You talk about lucky, okay? And you won a playoff game or whatnot. Now here you are coming back down to earth, doing what you're known most to do since you've been a pro, is be average. And he missed his first game ever in his career in the NFL. Like, I think this past week. But durability doesn't matter if you're not producing. You got Christian Kirk. You got Calvin Ridley. You got guys, man, all over the field. You got Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning coach. Offensive guy. Come on, Trevor. Come on. But for some reason, I keep hearing this guy in the same likes of Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and that. He's not those guys, bro. He's not those guys. He's a decent thrower. He's a guy that he perceives to be a game manager, but he doesn't manage much. He really makes things worse the way he runs around and holds the ball so long and makes bad decisions with the ball. I don't think he sees the field as nearly as great as what people try to make it seem like. He throws a pretty ball. He's accurate, but he doesn't make right decisions with it. So I'm out on Trevor Lawrence. I'm out on him. I'm out. I don't see it. So
he won't ever get to, let's say, a championship round.
Nah. He doesn't have it in him. He doesn't see the field that great, bro.
Or do you think it would have to be like a defense would have to be
everything for him seems so forced. It seems so like, he got that in. Oh, he got that one in. You know, it's like, damn, man, can you get a guy wide open? Can you see your lanes?
People open.
Yeah. You don't see that a lot with Trevor Lawrence. You just don't. So, the Colts, Gardner Minshew, they've been doing decent, but I think the Texans could catch up with them. Let me see. Hold on, guys. Houston, Texas, 2023 schedule.
Yeah, I think the magic might run out for the Colts. You know what I'm saying? This Gardner Minshew is decent and all that, but I think that the Texans can get them. I'm not gonna lie.
I think they played the Colts the last game of the season.
My goodness, just talk.
Oh yes, they do. They play the Colts the last game of the season, January 7th. Okay, that's gonna be the AFC Championship, guys, right there. You gotta win that one, C.J. Stroud. Anthony Richardson, I think he played the first meeting, and they barely won on some dumb stuff. It was pretty wacky game with flags and stuff like that. I remember, but the Texans definitely have a great chance. They didn't give up a touchdown today. I like that defense. People don't talk about that defense enough. What DeMeco Ryans is doing. Darius Stingley's become one of the top 10 safety in the league right now. He may be right at 10, but he's top 10. And I like what I'm saying. Will Anderson was hurt this past game, but it's nothing serious. He should be back. I like what I'm saying. I love what I'm saying. And this team plays with energy. They play with like a electric spark. And I like the receivers. Nico Collins doing his thing. Tank Dillard for the season with Mechie stepping up. Noah Brown doing his thing. Dalton Schultz making big plays in the red zone. Damian Pierce and Singletary running that thing. So I like what I'm saying.
Running game has been fierce.
I love what I'm saying. Laramie Tunsil right there. Is he still? He's still there? No, he's with Miami.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
Well, that offensive line they've been blocking. So Houston can compete with anybody in the AFC, in my opinion. And I would bet on them against anybody healthy. I really would. A young team that's going to play with nothing. You talking about a team that's going to play with nothing to lose? They have nothing to lose.
Especially after that humbling little loss that they had against the Jets. It seems like they've been refocused. They came out the next week, got a W when they didn't have their starting quarterback.
Stroud out for 2 weeks and you split it 1-1. I'll take that.
Hey,
I'll take
that. So they're definitely trending in the right direction. It seems like they're peaking at the right time. But is there anything else? NFL?
That's it for now. It's going to get better and better. It's going to get better and better. This season is crazy. There's no, as you see by the talk, there's no clear-cut favorite in either conference. Yeah. Every team has a major flaw, and
who knew the NFC would be the one that's more up in the air to me than how the AFC is shaking out right now. That's how I'm seeing it, because all the top teams in the NFC, we thought it was just going to be, okay, we know this, we know this, we good. But on the AFC side, things seem like they're going to be pretty straightforward.
Now, there could very well be a wild card to come out the AFC South also, because it could be the Colts and Texans still get in, both. They both could still get in. Who knows? But, we'll just have to we'll know by next time for sure. And next time is gonna be a playoff edition. It's gonna be a set. We're gonna do our next episode is gonna be when it's a set bracket. set bracket.
We're gonna run through the bracket.
Ain't no more. It could be this or that. We 1 through 7. We're gonna debate who's gonna win what game and who's gonna get
all the way
where.
up to the champ.
And you don't want to miss that one. We want some special guests. We're gonna have other perspectives, other opinions, and other fans. We might have a fucking Trevor Lawrence fan, and we're gonna have some more talk about that. You're going, boy, okay? But take him away.
He's coming for somebody. But let us know what you thought about how we see the divisions as of right now. There's only 1 week left in the NFL. I can't believe that football is almost over, but it's a damn good thing that we cover all the sports, and we will be back with more things next time with the NBA and all them things there. It has been your boy T-Rav. Like, subscribe. It's Romy Rome. Location Sports Rundown. We out.
We out.
I can hear my every heartbeat. I can feel the blood rush through my